NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Jay All Day Show. Today, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys fans, I'm going to go over the free agents this year, right? So in March, free agency kicks off. We'll see what players get re-signed, but this Dallas Cowboys roster is going to have a lot of turnover from last year's team. And that's probably a good thing considering the Cowboys definitely underachieved last season. And then we're going to do a full 7-round mock draft where I do picks for all the Dallas Cowboys draft picks for 2025. The draft is coming up in April. Let's get into it. Before we get started, Cowboys fans, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It does really help us get into that YouTube algorithm. First, for Cowboys fans, we're going to look at the free agents for this roster. There's a lot of them. Quarterbacks, Trey Lance, Cooper Rush. Running backs, Rico Dowdle, Brandon Cook. So getting another wide receiver, a running back at some point in this draft, definitely a necessity. Offensive line, Zach Martin, his play has declined as injuries have plagued him the last couple seasons. So we'll have to see how that goes. And here is the big problem this NFL offseason for the Cowboys. Look at the D-line, guys. DeMarcus Lawrence, Carl Lawson, Oza Odingozua, Chancey Golston, Linval Joseph, Carlos Watkins. A lot of ammo going out, testing the free agent market this offseason for the Cowboys. So for me, D-line is extremely important. Edge rusher, I love that as well, especially if you let DeMarcus Lawrence walk. Linebackers, Darius Harris, Eric Kendricks, Nick Vigil, definitely a concern of mine. And then if we look at the cornerback spot, 4 corners, Booth, Lewis, Makuma, and Urawere. I don't know how, I'm probably butchering that name. But in total, right, 22 unrestricted free agents, 2 restricted free agents, and 3 exclusive rights free agents, guys. There's just a lot to unpack there for this roster. The GM for the Cowboys is going to have a very busy offseason. Now, let's get into that mock draft. We're going to go rounds 1 through 7. The Cowboys got a lot of picks, guys. If we go to your picks, a 1, a 2, a 3, 3 5s, no, 4 5s, woo! 2 6s, and a 7. A lot of draft picks for the Cowboys this year, especially in those later rounds, so we want to make sure we hit a home run on those. All right, Cowboys, round 1, pick number 12. Where do we go? A lot of people have been mocking Ashton Genty to the Cowboys at pick 12. I think they can get a very good running back in the 2nd or 3rd round, maybe even the 4th round with this deep amount of running backs in this draft. For me, the guys I'm looking at right now are Luther Burden III. I watched the tape last night. Pretty explosive player with good hands, solid route runner as well. But the tape that stood out to me the most, Mike Green. Oh boy, from Marshall. Wow. He just puts a punishment on offensive linemen. He's a bully, straight up. And to win championships, you need a bully. The Bird Gang has Jalen Carter. He's their bully. The Cowboys need a bully. Mike Green definitely in play. Emeka Egbuka, I like him too. Ben Morrison, man, I watched the tape on him last night too. Wow. Extremely impressive. Fluid hips. He's as systematically sound as it gets from the cornerback position. He's got a nose for the football, so that is in play as well. So is Walter Nolan, the interior defensive lineman from Mississippi, 88.9 grade. Very impressive stuff. So, where do we go here at pick 12? I know the Cowboys have Micah Parsons rushing the passer, but man, pairing him up with Mike Green would be devastating for opposing offenses, right? Mike Green is not necessarily the linebacker type. He's definitely more a put his hand in the ground and rush the passer. You know what I mean? He's definitely not going to be dropping in the coverage too much, From what I've seen from Mike Green, he's going to put his hand in the dirt. He's going to come get it, straight up. But he can defend the run too, just as good as the pass, man. I love Mike Green. It's really hard for me to pass up on him. For me, it comes down to Genty, Mike Green, and Ben Morrison, the corner, man. the Cowboys have good corners on their roster, but they've been hurt a lot, right? I do love Walter Nolan, but man, I'm not passing up on Mike Green. I think he has the ability to be a generational talent. 17 sacks, 10 hits, 32 hurries. Extremely, extremely impressive. 23 sacks over the last 2 years. Pass rush win rate 20%. True pass set, pass rush grade over 90 grade. Like, I can't pass up on him. I don't think you should either. Dallas Cowboys, Mike Green, bringing some solid pass rushing skills to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we're up in the second round for your Dallas Cowboys. Pick 44 overall. A wide receiver, man, Colston Loveland is still on the board too. I'm very, very impressed with him. I do like myself some Cam Scatterbo in the second round as well. But if we look at the running backs, we still got Judkins and Henderson and Caleb Johnson. Devin Neal from Kansas looks really good as well. A lot of depth there, right? So I'm not sure I want to go Cam Scatterbo here in the second round. So Jahad Campbell is very interesting too at the linebacker spot. He can kind of mix around. I don't know. We already took another edge defender. I don't know if that's the way to go right now. But man, Colston Loveland, man, his tape is very, very impressive. If he falls to pick 44, which is kind of mind-blowing to me at this spot, you got to take that into consideration. I definitely think offensive line help is a need for the Dallas Cowboys. Xavier Restrepo is still on the board too. The wide receiver, very, very impressive. 11 touchdowns, 16.3 yards per reception. That's crazy impressive. 5'10", 198. A little bit on the smaller size, but Restrepo is really, really good. Porter from Iowa State, pretty solid corner. Can't really defend the run at all whatsoever. Mediocre with the man coverage, so Ursery is definitely a possibility for me as well. Pretty solid guy. I don't think he plays tackle at the NFL level. I think he's going to be kicked into guard and being one of those monster guards there. But, man, Xavier Restrepo or Colston Loveland, guys. That's kind of who I'm debating between. I want to bring another offensive weapon to this Cowboys offense, right? I've been going back and forth on this pick. Xavier Restrepo, he's very, very talented. I love the drop rate under 3%. I always typically look under 5%. I think he's a very talented guy. And he did all this with Cam Ward, who's a pretty inaccurate quarterback, right? You know what I mean? Decent size. I think I'm going to roll the dice. I do love Colston Loveland, though. But I think Restrepo is more important, especially with Brandon Cooks walking. He could be a true number 2 wide receiver. Xavier Restrepo goes to your Dallas Cowboys with the second pick. Third overall pick for the Dallas Cowboys, guys. Jonah Sevenanea, he's still on the board. I love that as well. Elijah Arroyo, another really good tight end. Charles Grant from William & Mary is on the board as well. I think grabbing another offensive lineman. All these tackles that are left on the board right now are definitely not going to be tackles in the NFL, I don't think, right? So, where do we go? I do love Charles Grant from William & Mary. What a great year. And he put up some big numbers, man. Very impressive guy. 6'4", 300 pounds. He's definitely more of a guard, and he could fill in directly for a guy like Zach Martin. Man, I do love him. Played left tackle all 3 years there. Jonah, he played a little bit of mix. Played some right guard as a first-year player. Played a little bit of right tackle, some more right tackle. He split time between right and left tackle. He's got a ton of diversity there, though, guys. So I do really like that. At 6'5", 336 pounds. Jonah definitely played a lot higher of competition. Jonah Sevenanea is going to the Cowboys in the third round. Now, Cowboys fans, we got 4 fifth-round picks. Now is when we're going to focus on running back. For me, Krosky Merritt is on the board from Arizona. Solid 2 years, back-to-back years. Had some injuries, man. This could be a guy, 1,200 yards. He had a great game in game 1, but got hurt. Very impressive, 1,200 yards, over 6 yards per carry. if he's going to be healthy, 5'11", 208, pretty prototypical size. Hunter from Auburn is on the board as well. 1,200 yards, 6.5 yards per carry. I like him a little bit more used in the passing game. Let's see what he did in 2023. Not really a factor in the passing game. And in today's NFL, you want a running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield. Kyle Monangai, back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons. Pretty solid player. Yeah, I just like Krosky Merritt is probably the best guy on the board right now. Yarns from Delaware. Not quite as good. I think you take a flyer on Krosky Merritt. With the injury, I know it's not always great bringing in a guy who is injured, but look at that 2023 campaign, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns, excuse me. I think he's a steal in the 5th round for the Cowboys. All right, we drafted 2 guys out of Arizona. Now we're going to pick again 20 picks later in the 5th round. We got 3 picks in the next 5 picks, right? So where do we go from here? Dallas Cowboys fans, right? We definitely need some interior defensive line help. You could always add some more help on the edge. And true off-ball linebacker, interesting as well. Cody Lindenberg from Minnesota, pretty solid guy there. Bringing in another cornerback. Dorian Strong is the best guy left on the board. Pretty solid college career, guys. Very, very impressive. I do love the man coverage grade at 72.8 in the 5th round. That's a very interesting spot. Emory Jones Jr., not the greatest year this year for LSU. Let's check out this tight end, Jackson Halls from Georgia Tech, Not really catching a lot of balls. Not for me. Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma. I did like his tape. Great run defender, He doesn't really line up on the D-line. He's more of a, off-ball linebacker, Danny Stutzman. I think that's a great pick. Dorian Strong is too good of a pick. I'm hoping that Danny Stutzman will still be there. Dorian Strong, the cornerback from Virginia Tech, 6'1". I do like his size. Can our guy still be there? Is our guy still there? Is he still here? Danny Stutzman, the linebacker, still here. I'm taking him. All right, guys. Very solid draft so far with these first few picks. Mike Green, Xavier Restrepo, Jonas Evanier, Krosky Merritt, the running back, Dorian Strong, the corner, Danny Stutzman, the linebacker. We got another pick here in the 5th round. All right, guys. I'm looking at the board now. Caden Prieskorn, the tight end. He was okay. Not great. But remember, we're in the 5th round, late in the 5th round. We just want to bring some depth. I think interior defensive line is the spot I want to go after right now in the 5th round. We got Tafuna from Utah. Very solid 2024 campaign. No sacks, which I don't love, but solid run defender. Zeke Biggers from Georgia Tech. Not great. Caldwell from Oregon. He seems to be the best guy on the board, playing top-tier competition as well, guys. 74, 76, 80, getting better each and every year, and you love to see that. 6'1", 340 pounds. Big boy, 6'1", 340 pounds. Gotta love that. Just going to take a look real quick at some other guys. Cam Horsley from Boston College, pretty solid as well. But, man, I think Jamari Caldwell is I just love the growth. Pass rush win rate over 9%. All these numbers are pretty solid for a guy being picked in the 5th round. He played a little bit in the A gap, the B gap, a little bit all over the place on the D line. 340 pounds, can definitely stuff the run. 82 overall grade. I love that pick there in the 5th round. All right, guys, so we went edge, wide receiver, tackle, running back, corner, linebacker, interior defensive line. We got 2 picks in the 6th round. 2 quarterbacks for this team are free agents. Bringing in a young quarterback, I don't hate that idea. I definitely don't hate that idea. Maybe we do that with the later 6th round pick or in the 7th round. Jake Majors from Texas, the center. I do like that too. He could play guard a little bit, Jake Majors. He's a true center. And if you look at this Cowboys roster, bringing in a center, not a bad idea. Akil Arnold, the safety from USC, not the greatest year the last year. Jay Higgins, the linebacker from Iowa, was on the board. Miles Frazier, a true guard from LSU. Played a little bit of right guard. Ty Felton, the wide receiver from Maryland, very, very solid year, 1,200 yards. Bringing in another weapon, 9 touchdowns. I love this pick. I'm drafting another wide receiver. I need more weapons for this team. Now, in the 6th round, guys, here we are in the 6th round drafting for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Some interior defensive line help, could definitely be on the board too. Cameron Jackson from Florida, very solid run defender. 6'6", 342, absolute monster at the D-line. Ty Robinson had a really good year this year. 6 sacks. I do like the pass rush win rate. Definitely better at rushing the passer. Not the best at stopping the run. But Ty Robinson, Howard Cross the third from Notre Dame. He had a really, really, really excellent 2023. Kind of regressed a little bit in 2024 for Notre Dame. 6'1", 288. A little too small for me being on that inner part of the line. Joe Evans, no. Eric Gregory from Arkansas, pretty solid year as well. 6'4", 320. That's kind of what I want. I want a big hulking lineman. 6'6", 310. Ty Robinson is definitely in the picture for me. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run. Ty Robinson. I think that's a solid pick in the 6th round, guys. And now in the 7th round, our final pick in this year's draft. Kind of a best player on the board type of scenario. Mac McWilliams, the cornerback from UCF. He's still on the board. I like the man coverage grade. The coverage grade coming in at an 85. Pretty solid there. Tonka Hemingway from South Carolina. Another defensive lineman. Pretty solid. Shamari Simmons from Arizona State. Pretty solid cornerback. I do like that. The bottom of this draft's got a little bit of talent, guys. So Shiloh Sanders, the safety from Colorado's on the board as well. Yeah, I think maybe we go, an undrafted free agent, bring in a quarterback. I don't know if I'm drafting a quarterback here. Greg Penn, the third from LSU, is the best, non-quarterback on the board. Dan Jackson from Georgia. Solid regression every single year. I don't want to see that for a guy I'm picking. Marcus Ware from Montana State. They need guard help. They need interior offensive line help. This could be a steal. 93 grade in 2022, 87.8 grade. No sacks given up in his college career. We need trench help for this Dallas Cowboys team this year, guys. I love this draft. B+ grade. Mike Green, A+. Restrepo, 70 Nea. Solid running back in the 5th round. We crushed the first 4 picks, guys. And then we got Dorian Strong, linebacker Danny Stutzman. I love that pick late in the 5th round. They didn't like the Jamari Caldwell pick. And, when you're drafted in the 6th and 7th round, they're kind of like building depth for this roster. Marcus Ware, dude, he's a very unheralded guy. Great numbers coming out of Montana State. That could be a steal in the 7th round for the Cowboys. B+ grade. I think we did better than the last one. The Cowboys Nation kind of didn't like my last 1.0 draft for the Cowboys, but I think we did a great job here. You could have drafted Colston Loveland in the 2nd round, but I think we need to go wide receiver more. CeeDee Lamb needs some help. CeeDee Lamb, Xavier Restrepo, great. We tackled the defensive line, the offensive line. We got a cornerback. We got our running back. Solid draft. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.